welcome to Good Game Pocket Edition, your weekly bundle of gaming for gamers by gamers. I'm Barjo.
And I'm Hex. This week we spent the bulk of our gaming in the huge maps and serious simming of ArmA 3. I'm so alone. Oh, no.
But before all that, let's play some football.
And there's the first goal of the game.
FIFA 14 builds on last year's excellent installment, polishing the presentation and gameplay up to an exceptional standard.
He strikes a goal, kept his cool, and looped it into the empty net.
Menus have been overhauled to be more intuitive and snappy, and the football out on the pitch has been enhanced with a precision movement system. Dribbling with the ball and the responsiveness of the players is better than ever, with lovely subtle jinks possible and chances on goal galore.
It's a chance! And it's a goal!
EA has been consistently putting out a great game these last few years, and I honestly thought that maybe this time they'd stumble, but no. FIFA 14 is such a fully featured package for football fans, and it's a hard one to fault.
Yeah, and having all the real-world clubs and kits and that amazingly detailed match commentary, it just brings the game to life.
Australia have actually taken a big gamble, moved into the zone of where it's more difficult to qualify in Asia. They've qualified.
Derpy collisions are no longer a factor, and in fact the ball physics seem to have been tweaked for a more varied array of passes and shots.
What a chance! Opening here! Oh, full marks for the keeper. I don't know where his defence went, but he did his job.
We can only play the current gen version of FIFA 14, so we can't comment on what it's like on PS4 or Xbox One, but it's still great. I gave it a 9.
I gave it 9 as well. We also had a look at Konami's Pro Evolution Soccer 2014. This year the game has been rebuilt from the ground up using Kojima Productions' Fox engine, the same tech which is powering Metal Gear Solid 5. Player animations are smoother and more fluid, and the AI has been tweaked to provide what seems to be a more balanced game overall.
Maybe now. It's in. They lead by 2.
While it does make for the best looking PES yet, the game is still current gen only this year, so the new engine probably won't stretch its legs properly until it hits next gen next year.
Oh, well defended.
PES is definitely pushing itself to be more of a simulation game again, to further distinguish itself from what FIFA is doing. It plays slightly slower and more methodically, but that does allow for more time on the ball. Once again though, PES lacks the bulk of real-world club licenses and suffers from some pretty lackluster commentary. All the little things that make a football fan sit up and take notice.
Could be the last chance for a cross. Hits it. Oh, off the post. So unlucky. They've scored.
But it does have a deep and complex set of manual controls to master, which is great if you want to spend a lot of time playing solo, really learning everything the game has to offer.
And he sends it in on his head. And in the end, that was wayward.
I think when you're in front of goal like that, you really should do better. That's a poor finish in the end.
I agree the presentation doesn't touch what FIFA has managed, and the career modes have been stripped right back to the point where they just feel a bit too drab to push through, which is a shame. I'm giving it 8.5 out of 10 rubber chickens.
I think that switching to the Fox engine was a good move, but there's just still so much that Konami needs to do to make this an irresistible alternative. It's 7.5 from me.
Surely, can he now find a finish? The goalkeeper reacts well.
Next up, we sharpen our combat skills with Infinity Blade 3.
Another Infinity Blade?
Infinity Blade 3 pushes the Unreal Engine to stunning fantasy vistas and memorable characters. Superhero Cirrus is joined by Issa, who's playable for the first time, and together they'll carve their way through a dizzying range of opponents and loot. The core combat remains unchanged as you swipe into enemy attacks to parry them and create openings for big combos.
I think the parry system works really well, but I think they've fallen into that trap where you just add a bunch of features for a sequel and they're not really necessary. Instead of having to explore one linear tower, you have this hideout hub world where you browse from the available levels and power up your gear. The problem is there's just so much pointless busy work with equipping gems, cooking potions, and unlocking abilities that you had by default in the first game.
You won't find anyone else with stock like this.
I think all the upgrading balances out the combat pretty well. If it was just endless fights, it would get boring fast. I was impressed at how well they wrapped this trilogy up, and I think those small levels are perfect for smartphone pick up and play, so I gave it 8.5.
I thought it was a bit cheeky how they snuck in those microtransactions. Even though they're not for important things, it's a premium price game. It should be a complete package, so I gave it 6.5. Shall we go answer some questions at the Ask Good Game desk?
Yes, of course.
Well, Hex, what's the first question for today?
All right, well, how about we go with this one from Unsent Letter 28 from Logan Lee in Queensland. Hey guys, I'm a massive Halo fan, even have a Master Chief tattooed on my back, and I'm wondering if there will be any more Spartan Ops episodes. I've also pre-ordered and paid for Xbox One. Will my 360 Halo games work on Xbox One?
Well, it's certainly a sign of being a massive fan of a game character when you get it tattooed on yourself. Fanboy for life, yo. Would you ever get a tattoo game character on yourself, Hex?
Probably not. I'm not much of a tattoo person, but maybe a little Geralt somewhere classy.
I get it.
How about you?
I'd definitely get a Raphael from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles somewhere. I would, but I'm scared of needles. And a tattoo is like 1,000,000 needles going into you, so it's probably never going to happen.
All right, well, as for if they're making any new Spartan Ops episodes, long story short, we have no idea.
They want you ready. Now.
We would have thought so since they called the first bunch Season 1, so logically there'd be a Season 2 to follow it.
Yes, but they haven't announced a Season 2 yet, and I'm sure at this point they're focusing on making the new Halo game, so I think Season 2 is pretty unlikely.
For Halo 4 at least, maybe we'll see Season 2 as part of the new Halo.
Maybe. Sounds like a good theory, Hex. Unless, of course, they decide it was just a bit of a failed experiment and scrap the whole Spartan Ops idea. Personally, I thought it was pretty cool, but I'd like to see them offer Spartan Ops as well as a classic firefight mode.
As for if your Xbox 360 games will work on Xbox One, well, that's a big fat no, we're sorry to say. The Xbox One is not backwards compatible, so if you want to keep playing them, then you'll just want to hang on to that 360.
Yes, but you could, of course, plug your 360 into the Xbox One and play them through your 360 through the back of the Xbox One, but obviously that's not really what you're after.
Well, I think on that note, it's your review time. And I guess seeing as we're talking about Halo, we should see what people thought about Halo Spartan Assault, the recent mobile take on the series.
And it looks like the bite-sized Halo has inspired some bite-sized reviews, like this one from Titan, who says, occupies time well, 5.5 stars.
Or this one from You're Wasted, who wrote, it's okay, 6.5 stars.
Likewise, Ghost here kept it all simple, writing, good game, 8.5 stars.
Twisted Sloth chipped in his 2 cents, saying, really like, 9 stars.
Cod Killer here seems slightly less impressed though, writing, no Halo, no! 4 stars.
There were a couple of lengthier reviews though. Noble17712 seemed impressed, saying, whilst this game doesn't follow the original Halo tradition of FPS action, this game can be good for those who don't care about the top-down TPS action and the pay-to-win aspect. Honestly, I think this game deserved better rating from the community. 9 stars.
Well, that's it for all your reviews. Remember to hop on our website or app if you want to contribute yourself. And on that note, I think we should get back to the studio, Hex.
Good idea.
Good game.
Bohemia Interactive know how to build big, beautiful worlds, and the battleground of ArmA 3 is stunning.
Okay, let's go!
ArmA 3 is definitely a military simulator first and a game second.
Ready.
It won't hold your hand and it won't make your life easy. The single-player campaign is coming as free DLC soon, but right now you can jump into some co-op multiplayer, a campaign editor, and a bunch of scenarios designed to showcase what's new.
Area clear.
Reloading!
Despite plenty of radio chatter, I found the mission objectives for these scenarios a bit confusing. In one particular mission, I must have spent about 15 minutes stalking my target, and I was so careful, Hex. I sat in the dark, I went around all the trees so he couldn't see me, I lined up my shot, I held my breath, and I went for it.
1, check your goddamn fire!
And then he yelled, check your fire, because of my teammate, and apparently I was meant to meet up with him and take the mission from there.
Copy that, Private. Sit tight. We're almost there. Out!
There is a lot going on under the hood to make sure the shooting feels realistic. How much you're carrying, if you're injured or out of breath, distance, wind, it all matters.
But there are still just some major mechanics that have flaws that I think should have been fixed for the sequel. Commanding just didn't feel accurate or clear enough. I'd say I spent more time just trying to get my team into position than focusing on strategy and the fight itself.
Taylor, move 100 meters, front! Taylor, move up! Taylor, move up!
Understood!
Commanding is a great mechanic, but it felt unfinished.
Yeah, all the AI felt really rough to me, to be honest, and it's such a shame.
Enemy actions still don't feel sentient, especially when they stand about waving their gun weirdly.
Yeah, the other thing I felt completely disappointing were the controls. Somehow they've managed to make them worse. Using scroll wheel and middle mouse or spacebar to navigate menus, to do things like order troops or enter vehicles, it's just madness. And I know you can go in and customize a lot of these controls, but even that menu is a nightmare to navigate. But there is a lot to like, especially the maps. The biggest being Altis. 270 square kilometers full of villages and plenty of variation to set up fights in. One thing about this being such a big open world is that if you're not going in with friends where you can be organized and find each other, you're going to be walking around lost a lot of the time. As I walk through this field, I ponder life and I'm bored.
Tackling missions cooperatively or in one of the many different user-created modes is really where the game shines. That said, the local player population isn't very high right now, so there's not a lot of games to choose from.
Anybody out there?
I know this is about creating a realistic experience as a soldier, but the fact is I have a better time being a soldier in Battlefield 3.
There are glimpses of that magic that we found in DayZ, the love of that long, slow crawl to a fight.
Contact! Free to engage! Taylor! Fire at that soldier! I'm on him. Right away, 100 meters.
But for now, I gave this 7 out of 10 rubber chickens.
Yeah, it's a tough one to score, isn't it? Because as it stands, it's missing its single-player campaign, but from my experience, I gave it a 6.5.
Good game.
Well, that's all the time we have for this week. Don't forget, though, you can catch regular episodes of Good Game on Tuesdays at 8:30 p.m. on ABC2.
Yes, and next week, we go to Japan to check out the Tokyo Game Show.
On fire.
Till next time, may all your games be good ones. Hex out.
Baju out.